The match is over, the crowd is roaring, and instead of a handshake, instead of a glance, instead of even a nod, there's a kiss to the biceps and a walk straight past. And suddenly, Brisbane isn't just about tennis anymore. It's about everything tennis tries to avoid talking about. Because what you saw on that court wasn't accidental, and what followed afterward may have said even more than the gesture itself. If you think this was just another post-match moment blown out of proportion, stay right here, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this single kiss, this single snub, might define the tone of the entire women's season moving forward. Aryna Sabalenka stood on Pat Rafter Arena as the champion once again, Brisbane International trophy in her hands, scoreboard frozen at 6-4, 6-3. World number 1, title defended, perfect record intact. On paper, it was dominance as usual. But tennis is never just about numbers, and this final carried weight long before the first ball was struck. From the opening game, the tension was obvious. Sabalenka wasn't just hitting the ball, she was punishing it. Every return landed heavy. Every winner felt intentional. This wasn't casual aggression. This was controlled force, the kind that tells your opponent and everyone watching that you are in complete command. Marta Kostyuk fought. She ran. She defended. But the gap was clear. Power versus resistance. Authority versus hope. Then came match point. One final strike. One last roar. And then, instead of turning to the net, Sabalenka turned inward, lifted both arms, and kissed her biceps. Not once. Both sides. Calm, confident, deliberate. A gesture that instantly sent social media into overdrive, because this wasn't happening in a vacuum. You see, this rivalry didn't begin in Brisbane, and it wasn't built on tennis alone. For years now, Marta Kostyuk has taken a public stance. Since 2022, she has refused to shake hands with Russian and Belarusian players, a decision rooted in the ongoing war and Belarus's alignment with Russia. This position hasn't changed, it hasn't softened, and it hasn't been selectively applied. Sabalenka knows this. The tennis world knows this, which is why that kiss landed like a spark near gasoline. Within seconds, fans were asking the same question. Was this a message? Was this a provocation? Was this personal? And then came Sabalenka's response. At the post-match presentation, the question arrived exactly as expected. Why the biceps kiss? Why now? Why here? Sabalenka didn't hesitate. No smirk? No sarcasm? No edge? I think because during the game I made a lot of aggressive, heavy winners when I see the speed, so I was just making fun with my team. That was it. Clean, simple, almost dismissive. But the follow-up came quickly, because journalists knew what everyone else was thinking. Was there another meaning? No. One word. Hard stop. No explanation. No apology. No acknowledgement of the wider narrative. And that, right there, is where this story gets fascinating. Because while Sabalenka shut the door immediately, she didn't look rattled. She didn't look defensive. She looked comfortable. Like someone who has long accepted that not everyone across the net is there to shake hands, smile, or play along. When asked about Kostyuk ignoring her completely after the match, Sabalenka barely flinched. Well, it's their position. It's their position. What can I do? I don't mind that. I don't care about that. That sentence tells you everything about Aryna Sabalenka's current mindset. There's no anger there. No bitterness. Just separation. Tennis on one side, everything else on the other. She went further, drawing a clear line around the court. When I go into the match, it's all about tennis and sport. When I go out there, I think about my tennis and the things I have to do to get the win. Doesn't matter if it's Marta Kostyuk or Jessica Pegula there. I still go out there, and I still try my best, and I'll still fight for the trophy. I have nothing to prove. I go there, and I just compete as an athlete. This wasn't a defense. It was a declaration. For Sabalenka, the handshake doesn't define respect. The scoreboard does. And in that department, the story is brutally one-sided. 5 matches played. 5 wins for Sabalenka. Not a single set dropped. Brisbane only reinforced a reality Kostyuk has yet to solve. But to understand why this final mattered so much, you have to rewind to Marta Kostyuk's path to that stage. Her season leading into Brisbane had been quiet. Underwhelming even. Three-quarter finals across the entire year. No real momentum. No serious title conversations. Expectations were low, both externally and internally. Brisbane was supposed to be a warm-up, a tune-up. Instead, it became a statement. One by one, Kostyuk took down names that were supposed to stop her. Amanda Anisimova, the 2nd seed, gone. Mira Andreeva, 6th seed, dismissed. Jessica Pegula, 4th seed, outplayed. This wasn't luck. This was fearless tennis, clean shot making, and belief growing with every win. By the time she reached the final, it had been 21 months since her last WTA final appearance. Suddenly, she wasn't just surviving the draw, she was commanding it. And yet, standing across from Sabalenka, the mountain was still there. Because beyond rankings and form, this matchup carries a deeper layer. Belarus's political alignment with Russia is not abstract for Kostyuk. It's personal. It's lived. It's daily reality. And she has made it clear, repeatedly, that she will not separate sport from that reality. Tournament organizers knew the sensitivity going in. No joint photos, no forced interactions. Everyone understood what was coming. After the loss, Kostyuk didn't hesitate. She walked straight past Sabalenka. No handshake, no eye contact, no acknowledgement. And then, instead of focusing on the match, she used her moment on the microphone to speak about Ukraine, about winter hardship, about survival. Later, in the press conference, she explained exactly why. I think it's important for me to use my platform in the right way. And my platform is Ukraine, because I represent Ukraine. So I think it's really important to talk about that. This wasn't heat of the moment emotion. This was principle, she continued. I think I have such exposure. So many people follow me. So many people look up to me. I have just learned with the war and everything that's going on that it's really important to stand up for things and to talk about them, whether it's war, whether it's other beliefs, or the position that you have, no matter what it is. For Kostyuk, silence is complicity. And she made that clear with one final line that cut straight through the room. The reality back home is very, very different. In my position, it's not okay to not talk about it. This is where tennis becomes uncomfortable. Because on one side, you have an athlete who insists the court is sacred, neutral ground, a place where politics don't enter and only performance matters. On the other, you have an athlete who believes neutrality itself is a statement, and that sport cannot be separated from the world it exists in. Neither position is accidental, neither is casual, and neither is going away. Sabalenka didn't escalate. She didn't fire back. She didn't question Kostyuk's motives. She simply played, won, and moved on. That might be the most powerful part of her response. Not the kiss, not the words, the refusal to engage. And now, with Brisbane in the rearview mirror, the implications stretch far beyond one final. Sabalenka heads to Melbourne chasing history. A 4th straight Australian Open final. A 3rd Happy Slam title. Total dominance on hard courts. She arrives as the clear favorite, unshaken, focused, and unapologetically competitive. Kostyuk arrives with momentum, confidence, and clarity of purpose. Her run in Brisbane wasn't a fluke. It was proof of growth. Proof that she belongs deep in big tournaments. Proof that her voice, both on and off the court, is only getting louder. The question now isn't who won in Brisbane. We know that. The question is what this rivalry becomes next. Does it stay cold and distant, defined by silence and separation? Does another moment push it further into controversy? Or does time slowly dull the edges as tennis inevitably demands rematches? That's what makes this story impossible to ignore. Because every time these two share a court, it won't just be about forehands and backhands. It will be about gestures, absences, statements, and choices. Every camera angle will be analyzed. Every celebration dissected. Every non-interaction amplified. And maybe that's the real takeaway from Brisbane. Not the kiss itself, not the handshake that never came, but the reminder that tennis, no matter how much it tries to stay in its lane, doesn't exist in isolation. Now I want to hear from you. Was Aryna Sabalenka right to keep it strictly about tennis and dismiss the moment entirely? Or did that biceps kiss add unnecessary fuel to an already tense rivalry? Drop your take in the comments, because this debate is only just beginning, and TennisZap will be right here for every chapter that follows.